You know that by investing your child benefit wisely can easily set your children up for a greater financial future. What's going on, people? So today we're going to be straight into it. We're going to get into the video. We're going to explain the real step-by-step walkthrough on this, okay, and break down the concept of how we can really utilize our child benefit allowance to fund our children's futures, okay? And we're going to show you how we're going to do it, how I've done it, and how we all can really utilize this, all right? Because most of us in the UK will receive this benefit. For the majority of us, children, men and women, they will receive this benefit to some degree. In today's video, we're going to be running through all things long-term growth. We're going to give you some real-world examples, okay? What accounts to use, what accounts to set up for your children to maximize the most out of this benefit. And also I'm going to share a little bit about my personal journey towards the end. So if you didn't know, child benefit is a monthly payment for anyone who basically has parental responsibilities in the UK, okay? And traditionally it will be children up to the age of 16. Now there are exceptions if your children are in full-time education, and that pushes up to 20. But the reason this is an amazing benefit to try utilize is because it's free money. And I don't know about you, no matter what financial situation you're in, free money is free money, okay? And what better to do with free money than to maximize it and turn it into more money, okay? And that's hopefully what we're going to show you to do in this video, all right? So child benefit, okay, run through the amounts that usually get paid. So firstborn child will be equal to £25.60, okay? And then for additional children, it is £16.95 per child after that, okay? But in the examples we're going to be using today, we're going to be sticking very simple. We're going to base it off one child. So of course, if you've got a family of 8, you do your maths on that, all right? So firstly, just get out of the way. We're not going to run through the whole eligibility criteria because that will drag the video out. We're going to get straight into the meat and potatoes of this, because the eligibility criteria is very easy to run through. It's a simple screening process you can do on this website, the DirectGov website. So go do that and make sure you're eligible, because if you're not eligible, then of course this video is not for you and it will provide you no value. Okay, so why we need to invest, man, and we need our children more so to invest, okay, and get it programmed into them from an early age that investing is just a normal everyday activity behavior that needs to be instilled in our families, all right? Because the long-term growth, nothing will beat the long-term growth, okay? And we're going to get into the reasons why, and like I said, give you those examples. But firstly, we want to break down that annoying notion of investing versus saving. And it's not about what's better between the two, because to some degree you're going to need both, okay? And the easiest way for me to describe the differences between the two is, think of any sport. Let's just take football, okay, for example. So saving in the game of football would be the goalkeeper, okay? So what's the goalkeeper do? The goalkeeper's crucial. You can't really play, you know, an 11-side football match without a goalkeeper, okay? That's a fair point. But the saver is the goalkeeper, and all the goalkeeper really do is save, and save you from those financial plays getting in the back of your net, okay? That's what a saver can do. Again, crucial, not taking anything away from that. Very, very crucial. But investing is where the game is won. Investing is, you know what I'm saying, the Haalands, you know, back in my day it was the R9, it's the CR7s, the Messis. They're the ones that are going to get the goals. They're going to bang it in the back of the net, hit those top bins, hit those crucial penalties, then financial penalties to win the championship. That's what investing is, man. So it's not about, you know, what's better. In my opinion, you should definitely do a lot more investing than saving, but of course saving, we do need to do that. So I wanted to get that out of the way because that's super important as to why we need to invest our money, because it's what's going to multiply our money for us, okay, at the fastest rate and give us that exponential growth, all right, to where we are wanting to go. So look, today, like I said, I'm going to get straight into the examples. So like we said, working off the basis of one child, okay, to keep it very simple. And we said before at the start that the first child, your firstborn child, will equate to £25.60, and that's a weekly payment, okay, which is then calculated and deposit into your bank monthly. So the first example, we're going to base it off that firstborn child. Okay, we're working with one child, and we take that weekly payment, like we said, of £25.60 and multiply that by 52 weeks, and we invest that annually for 18 years, because remember we said the benefit runs from 16 to the age of 20, depending on if the child is in full-time education. So we're going to go in the middle there with 18 years. We would have an astonishing £62,000, okay, for our child at the age of 18. Now, of course, I want to stress this is an aggressive approach, and I can appreciate people's situations, but of course, I'm going to give you the best case scenario so you can see what you can do with that, okay? So that's with obviously investing 100% of your child benefit in there, all right? And I understand not everyone can do that, okay? So you can fiddle those percentages how you see fit, whether it's half or, you know, a portion of that £25.60 weekly. That's up to you, man. And it's not about you have to invest it all to get the most out of it, because of course, yeah, putting more money in is going to equal more money out. That's how this game works. But simply just showing you from the age of, you know, newborn up until 18, it's an incredible amount of money that your child necessarily wouldn't have had, and definitely wouldn't have, because this is free money you haven't had to go out and work for. This is incredible, man. All right, so that's the first example I wanted to show you. Now, on the tail end of that, the part B to that, okay, the second part to that is, let's take that age of 18 now. We've got that £62,000 sitting in our investment account, okay? Obviously, your benefits now for child benefit has stopped, okay? We understand that. But even if you do not touch your account again and add any more money in there, and that compounds at an average rate of 10% a year, your account will be over, clear over £200,000. And that's game changing, man, for a 30-year-old, especially for myself. I didn't come from that. I come from, didn't have inheritance. I didn't have that financial springboard, but having this information, having this knowledge now, and doing this myself for my children, of course, getting invested for them super early in their lifetime. Look how powerful this is, man. Wouldn't you be better off with another £200,000 right now? Okay, even if it's not £200,000, even if it might be £80,000, you know, even if it's that £60,000, that's an amazing amount of money that, again, your parents haven't had to go out and bust their ass for. The market's made the money. The market's made those moves for you, and that's the importance of really having that education, man, and adding these financial, you know, weapons to your arsenal. And that's what's important, man, because again, this information is valid for the everyday man and woman, because the everyday man and woman will receive some level of child benefit. And again, you can choose and determine how much percentage of your £25.60 you want to contribute, okay? And again, we're basing it off that one child. So if you've got 3 children, you can do those maths, okay? And all of a sudden, those numbers start adding up. They start compounding. They start looking, you know, incredibly attractive. And wouldn't that be a proud moment? Wouldn't that be an amazing moment to be able to say how you put your children in position financially for them? Just making those few tweaks early on. Just making those few tweaks early on enough in their lives, man. It's beautiful. So yeah, man, those examples, again, like I said, just to highlight, they were extreme examples, but I need to show you extreme examples to show you what can happen extremely, all right? And just those small tweaks can move the needle exponentially for you, man, and it's super important. And once you've kind of got that in concept and you've got that in process, and you start investing and you put some of that money away for them, the main thing is just keep it consistent. Because myself personally, I love using index funds, and I've been investing in index funds since my children were born, essentially. And what an index fund essentially is, it allows you that exposure to so many great businesses on the stock market for a way lower risk, all right? You haven't got to go out and buy the individual companies, you just buy the whole market, essentially. So you're not finding that needle in the haystack, you're just buying the whole haystack, which is amazing. And that ties into my point of diversification, because that spreads that risk. It's a nice feeling, because I can understand not everybody's going to have a crazy risk appetite, and especially if you're investing for your children, yes, you should be aggressive. You should be leaning to the idea of growth and putting as much money into the growth sector to build their money up, that's understandable. But index funds allow that growth exposure, but also limit your risk. So you haven't got to worry about, you know, researching too much about your businesses. You just let the market do what the market does. And historically, the market will return you about 10% on your money, all right? That's killing any bank account, you know, whether it's a regular current or high yield savings. That's destroying bonds. It's destroying many different asset classes, okay? So it's important that we really start there, because it allows us to keep earning money in the background, also learning about the financial landscape and the markets, all right, to broaden our knowledge further, okay? So this is what you need to do practically, okay, to get going in the game. Once you've kind of understood you want to start doing this for your children, obviously you're going to need an account. So an account, you need a great tax efficient account, and the first account you need to open up for your children, they're called different things, but in this country they're called JISAs, okay, which stands for a junior individual savings account. And you open this up for a stock brokerage. Now for me personally, I've got no affiliation with these, this isn't an ad, but I use Fidelity, okay, because it just works for me, it's easy. I have all my accounts on there myself, then I have my 2 children's accounts on there, which are custodial accounts. So I steward these accounts until they're of the age of 18, and then they will have autonomy over these accounts. And again, you don't have to go with Fidelity. All different brokerages will have different accounts in there. But what I will say is you want to use one of these accounts that have professional services. You can actually pick up the phone and speak to a human. That's what I would say you would lean to. And usually those will come with some fees. Now with Fidelity, I'm happy with that, and I've got about 6 accounts with them under one umbrella, and I pay about £90 for the year. All right, so it works at about £7.50 a month. That's cool with me. I ain't mad at that. So do some research on that. But the key thing I want to tell you is you need to make sure you open up a tax efficient account for your children, because when it comes to them taking out the money and accessing that money later in their life, they won't be taxed. All right, and as we know, we don't like paying HMRC any extra money that we don't need to. All right, so we need to make sure we set up those JISAs, all right, junior savings accounts. Very, very important. So lastly, I'm going to leave you with a real life scenario, which is my own, okay? And this is my daughter's account. I started investing for her as soon as she popped out of the womb, all right? And then a few years later on, my son came along, so my daughter's got a few more laps around this investing son than him. So this is a snapshot of her account, and I'll be real, most of these funds are based off just compounding. And initially in the beginning, I didn't have the surplus capital to put into her account. So what I did was pretty much utilize any money that came in from, you know, like birthdays, events, parties, things like that. All that kind of extra money came in on top of her child benefit. I would be piling into her account and buying stock and building it up and letting it compound over time. She's 5 now. Again, she don't really know that daddy's doing this, but I show her and I keep her very involved, especially when I'm buying stocks, whether it's my own or showing her. She understands obviously green is up, red is down. But again, this is why it's so powerful, man, because although she's not conceptualizing everything that's happening, but she will understand and she'll make those cognitive links later on in life when she gets shown her account and she has autonomy over the account at the age of 18. She'll be primed then, she'll be ready, she'll be almost programmed like it's the norm. And that's the whole point of this investing game and building wealth and making you more financially resilient and more rigid financially, is to build your family network up to make it the norm for them. Because growing up, it wasn't the norm for me. All this stuff was kind of sold and shown that it's over my head, it's out of my league, it's not from people of my demographic. And I felt isolated, and most of you probably feel isolated, but I'll be real with you, man, this game is for everybody, and it'll make you feel like it's not. But it just starts with you really being determined and doubling down and going to find the information, which is out there. I've done it, you can do it, and this is why I'm making these videos, to give you this information, to really act on it, have those actionable steps in these videos, so you can actually just activate and get moving towards building wealth for you and your family nucleus, man. Okay, So we went through a lot today in this video, man, and I hope you got some value. So today was just all about showing you what our child benefit can really turn into if we just plant it in the right position early enough, add those few little small tweaks to grow our money exponentially for our children, man. You know, getting that long-term growth in is super important. We showed you those examples, what money can turn into if you let it compound and do the work and do the heavy lifting for you. Those ISA accounts are super important. Don't sleep on those. Get those tax advantaged accounts for our children so we're not paying HMRC anything extra than we need to. Once we're doing all that, just stay consistent, man. Let the market do the moves for you, okay? So I encourage you to get in the game, off the sidelines, start putting your money in position for your children, man. And if you got any value, like I said, consider subscribing and staying in touch for more financial wealth tips, man. It's your boy Ash Assets, and I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Let's go.